The Farmer and the Silent Field. The sun was setting over the hills, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple, but the field before him was anything but vibrant. It was a barren stretch of land, dry and cracked, as if it hadn't seen a drop of rain in years. The farmer stood at the edge, staring at the lifeless soil, a feeling of dread settling in his chest. His hands, weathered by years of hard work, gripped the shovel tighter as he whispered to himself, "Is this it? Have I failed?" He had worked this land for years, tilled it, watered it, and hoped for a harvest that never came. The seed he planted in the spring had barely sprouted, and the weeds that grew were the only things that thrived. The soil was stubborn, unforgiving, nothing would grow. The villagers who once praised his efforts now whispered behind his back. "The farmer is losing his touch," they said. "He'll never grow anything here again." But the farmer refused to believe it. This land was his. It had always been his. He couldn't let go now, not when he had invested so much of himself into it. He knelt down, running his fingers through the dry earth, hoping to feel the faintest sign of life beneath. But there was nothing. Frustrated, he stood up and looked out at the horizon. The world around him was silent, the only sound the faint rustle of leaves in the wind. It felt as though even nature itself had abandoned him. Days turned into weeks, and still, the field remained silent. The farmer continued to tend to it, hoping for a miracle, but each day his hope grew fainter. One evening, after another long day of futile work, the farmer sat on the ground, his back against a withered tree. Tears welled up in his eyes as he looked at the empty field. "Why?" he whispered. "Why won't you grow?" That night he lay in bed, tossing and turning, unable to escape the thought of the barren land. Then, in the quiet of the night, a thought came to him. What if growth wasn't something he could see? What if the field wasn't truly barren after all? The next morning, the farmer woke with a new determination. He grabbed his tools, walked to the field, and began to dig once again, not to plant, but to investigate. He dug deep in the soil, past the dry surface, past the cracks, and there it was. Roots. Thin, delicate, winding roots, silently spreading beneath the surface. For months, the field had been silent, but beneath the surface, life was growing. The roots had been forming, preparing for the moment when the soil would be ready. The farmer smiled, a sense of peace washing over him as he realized that sometimes growth takes place in the quiet, unseen moments, before the fruits of labor can ever be seen. The weeks that followed brought rain, and the barren field slowly began to transform. The soil, once hard and cracked, softened. The plants that had failed to sprout before now began to grow, reaching for the sky. It was as though the field had been waiting for the right moment, for the right care to bloom. And as the farmer stood in the middle of his now thriving field, he understood. Sometimes, the silent moments are the most important ones. In the quiet, beneath the surface, everything is growing. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe to help the channel grow.